Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another day in my life. So today I hope everybody is ready to go back in time because we are going back to the day before we left to go on vacation in Michigan. So if you missed that day in my life, that one is actually already up. So on this day, we needed to harvest some peppers from our garden and we actually decided to process them so they wouldn't go bad. So we made our peppers into pickles. Spoiler alert, they're amazing. So I'm super excited to share that process with you guys. I also obviously had to get my packing done for Michigan. Another spoiler alert, I definitely overpacked. In my Michigan vlog and on Instagram, so many of you guys asked for me to show you how I made these gluten-free almond butter chocolate chip cookie bars. Well, that is in this video. There was just a lot happening on this day. So don't forget to check my info box if you want to enter today's semi-secret giveaway. Let's hop right in. All right, so it's currently raining outside of my house and I don't want to shut the windows, so you might be able to hear that. But we're starting off this day in my life at Mitchell's Deli. Now, I've only eaten at Mitchell's for lunch because I love their sandwiches, but when I was on the hunt for a local bagel shop that I could go to if I just wanted to get out of the house or wanted to pick up bagels, Mitchell's came up on Google and I didn't even know they served breakfast. Side note, they have some of the best cookies ever. This, by the way, is their lunch menu or like their all-day menu. So I came here, look at this cool little jukebox. It's so cute. The whole restaurant is just really cute. And I did pick up one of these cookies for later in the day. It's like a funfetti cookie. I'm obsessed with it. And Dan and I pretty much just hung out, did some dancing, or at least I did some dancing while we waited for my bagel. This is the outside patio, by the way, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I've shared it before, but I had to share again. So on this day, I decided to get an everything bagel with cream cheese and veggies on top, and let me tell you, it was so fresh tasting and just absolutely delicious. So I enjoyed it in the truck with the windows down while Dan and I chatted away. Okay, so I decided to shut my window because it's like really storming out there. Storms get crazy in Nashville. Anyways, one thing that's great about our crazy storms is that it really helps to keep our garden watered and flourishing. And we had an excessive amount of peppers that were like right at the point that they had to be eaten or processed or they were going to go bad. So Dan and I, as I mentioned, were planning on leaving to Michigan the following day. We actually were supposed to leave on this day, but I had felt so sick the day before. I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done. So it got pushed back a day and we knew that before we left, we wanted to pick these pickles. Side note, look at these tomatoes. The cherry tomatoes from the garden are the best. Anyways, we decided we wanted to pick all of the peppers and process them so they could get used. And today we specifically wanted to experiment with making pickles. I consider the entire like homesteading, gardening, house project process just one big giant experiment, and we consider every single thing that we try just the first of hopefully many in our lives to come. And so we just thought that pickles would be a fun thing to start with, and we had jalapenos, habaneros, serranos, and I can't remember what that yellow pepper is called. Just kidding, I just asked Dan and he said that those yellow peppers are called pepperoncinis. So Dan brought them in, sorted them all out just to see what we had, and then I took my Thieves fruit and veggie wash, which is a plant-based fruit and vegetable cleanser that I love to use on my produce, and I poured a capful of the concentrate into these two little buckets because I knew it was going to take a lot, and then we rinsed down the produce and filled the buckets up with water. It ends up making the water kind of like almost soapy, and you kind of rough all of the produce around with your hands to really get it thoroughly washed, and then you let your produce sit in that bucket and soak for maybe 15 minutes. I mean, you can do a lot less, but I think that's how long we let ours soak. So while the peppers were soaking, I actually made my way upstairs to start the packing process. Typically when I'm packing, it's kind of like like a process throughout the day. I need to make sure that all of my laundry is done, that I start pulling out my packing cubes, putting things into piles. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I way overpacked for this trip, but I was like a little nervous about the weather, and I also wasn't sure what Kylan and Grant had in store for this trip. I don't know. When I get like nervous about, you know, trips or like what I'm doing, I tend to pack like way too many outfits. So I rolled all of my clothes up and I put them in my little packing cubes, which I'm obsessed with. I highly suggest packing cubes because it really helps to keep your clothes separated more, especially if you're kind of an out of control, messy packer like I am. So you can really see what you have. I got them off of Amazon, and if you want to check them out, I will link them down below. I always link everything in my videos, and I really appreciate, by the way, guys, whenever you buy anything through my link. It helps to support my channel and just my livelihood. So on a side note, I thought I'd throw that out there. This is one of the outfits I was trying on for packing, by the way, that I ironically didn't even end up wearing up there. So there's that. And then I went through my bathroom stuff and I pulled out all of my skincare, deodorant, you know, sunscreen, which I guess is skincare, and just all of that jazz to start putting into my toiletries bag. All of my toiletry bags are kind of gross. I've had them for like years and years. And I think I travel like a fair amount, so they have been used and abused. I mean, I wipe them down, but they're still kind of gross, but I really appreciate them. They have done the job of transporting my excessive amount of stuff from point A to point B. So Dan did pick up some carrots from the grocery store. We can't wait till the day comes that we are growing our own carrots, but he really wanted to pickle carrots with the peppers. So he picked up the carrots, shaved them in our little shaver tool thing. I don't really know. That's pretty much entirely used by Dan. And then I went out to the garage to easily, might I add, pull out our mason jars. If you missed it, I actually uploaded a video organizing and working on our garage and outdoor pantry area. It was quite an ordeal. We've meant to do it for the last 2 years we lived here and never got around to it. So I was really excited to finally get everything sorted. Then it was time to move on to my highly requested gluten-free almond butter chocolate chip cookie bars. The recipe I pulled is pinned on my Pinterest, but this is what I used. Almond butter, vanilla extract, coconut palm sugar, Enjoy Life mini chips, this baking powder, and oats. So like I said, this recipe is pinned on my Pinterest. I thought this was funny and I should film this, by the way. I always ask Dan to like stir up my nut butters because they tend to get like, I don't know, separated. And lately he's been using a knife attached to a power tool to stir up my nut butters. It's crazy, but it makes my butters so smooth. So shout out to you, Dan, for finding another way to make my life better. So I added my almond butter, my vanilla extract, I stirred that together and then added in my coconut sugar as well. And just this mixture, oh my gosh, it smells like you just want to eat it by the spoon. So then in a separate bowl, I added my oat flour, which was just oats that I ground up in my blender, and then a little bit of oats that I did not grind up in the blender. Then I took some baking powder, and then I whisked that little concoction together. Then I pulled out my unsweetened organic vanilla almond milk because once I added the flour mixture that I had done to my nut butter mixture, I added a little bit of the vanilla almond milk as well. And then I just worked on stirring everything together. So once I worked it together, I took my mini chocolate chips and then I sprinkled them into the batter and worked it all together. Next up, I took a pan, added a sheet of baking paper, And then I just kind of added the mixture to the pan with my hands and just kind of pressed everything down to the edges the best that I could. I did add a little bit of chocolate chips at the end on top as well, and some chunky sea salt. I also had a call scheduled today with my singing teacher and my friend Bethany, and we hadn't met the last couple weeks because her mom actually passed away recently. So she's been going, obviously through a hard time in life. And I actually wanted to pop Bethany in here to let you guys know about something special that she is working on in case any of you feel led to contribute and help.
Hi everybody, I just want to say thank you first of all for watching all of Nikki's videos. The opportunity to teach her and work with her has been such a blessing. And so this video is really all about the fact that we were raising money for my mom's deductible and miracle fund as she's been in the hospital and very sick. And then we ended up losing her July 1st. So she went home to be with Jesus. And so even though we miss her, we are now left with just a lot of expenses. And what we thought was going to be about $25,000 is actually about $50,000 and some change. So any way that you would pray or want to give or help would be a blessing, and we just really appreciate it. Thank you.
So yeah, I will have that link in the info box down below. I love you, Bethany, and thank you to anyone who is able to and feels led to contribute. So when I came down from my call with Bethany, Dan had pretty much just been chopping and separating peppers for like a while. I'm not gonna lie, this took him a little bit of time. It was an ordeal. I mean, he was saying it wasn't super difficult, but like taking the time to get all of those vegetables grated and chopped is still an ordeal. But I know that he actually really enjoys this because Dan has a very meticulous, detailed side to his personality that I actually think sometimes enjoys chopping food. It's kind of like a detailed art form for him. So we did take a break at this point and head out to the grocery store. We love going on drives at sunset. Sunsets in Nashville are beautiful because we have like rainstorms almost every day of the week. So when the sun is going down, it just makes for the most beautiful sky full of cotton candy and rainbows. We'll drive with the windows down and just breathe in the air in awe of what we're seeing. So we were making our way to the turnip truck for a couple of snacks that I wanted to pick up for the road trip the next day. You saw some of that food if you watched my Michigan vlog, and we also felt too lazy to cook dinner. So we each decided to pick up a soup, which is something we do probably a couple times a month now. And I got the quinoa and sweet potato chili with black beans. Now, when I got home, I popped my bars in the oven, and when they came out, this is what they looked like. And let me tell you, they're amazing. Like legitimately, the last batch, the group of us ate the entire pan in Michigan. It was so good. And because it's such clean ingredients, you don't feel gross after eating it. So Dan picked up where he left off with the pickle making, and he peeled a bunch of cloves of garlic to be able to put in with our pickle mixture. Now, I'm not going to give you exact directions because the exact directions are on my Pinterest. You can see that I pinned pickle recipes, and it's just the basic pickle recipe we used of the vinegar and I think some kind of salt. And you literally just like bring it to a boil, and then you let the veggies simmer for a certain amount of time. And then we poured the veggies into our mason jars, as well as a bunch of the brine, like the liquid that it was soaking in. I had also picked the last of my fresh dill from my indoor tower garden because we wanted to add that to the pickle mixture as well. And then that was it. You pretty much just put the tops on and pop them in the fridge. And let me tell you guys, we gave a couple of jars to different people that we knew because this type of pickling only lasts a couple of weeks. So the processing was kind of like null and void because we didn't have that much longer, but we had longer than if we had let them go bad in the garden. And I started putting pickles on sandwiches, on my chili, in my tuna, in my chickpea salad, on my salmon tacos. Honestly, pickled jalapenos and carrots, which I got this idea from Moss Tacos, by the way, are amazing and can go on so many different types of cuisines and food and add like the perfect zing, especially for this pregnant lady over here. I feel like pickles are a very pregnant lady thing and peppers are a very Nikki thing. So yeah, you can say that I have been enjoying myself. Clearly, so has Dan. We were psyched on this. I mean, I honestly don't know. I think this might have been the day before, or maybe this was even lunch that day, and I just put this in the wrong order. I'm sorry. I'm kind of confused as to what this footage is, but at some point that week, we did go to Moss Tacos, which if you're ever in Nashville, Moss Tacos is one of our like popular kind of like small hot spots. It was featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. My sister Shayna came with us that day, and just so you know, I know I've mentioned this before, but my particular order, if you ever go, is the quinoa sweet potato taco on a single tortilla with double the toppings, and then I get their pickles and tons of hot sauce on the side. And it's really good. It's very different kind of Mexican food. It doesn't taste like anything else I've ever had. It's delicious. So another thing that I did that day was get in some piano practice. Lately, I have been getting in piano practice every single day, which has been nice because like the first month or two of my pregnancy, I never even touched the piano. Every day was just like surviving. But now every day I spend a few minutes with the windows open, playing and singing, and it's just such a like, such a great addition to my life. I love that I can play and sing now. Okay, more food. I think this was my dinner that night. I watched Det Kickin' Mama on my phone while I had tuna melts and chips and salsa. So I ate really well tonight, a lot of food. I had a Ningxia soda on the side, which is just Ningxia in sparkling water. And then I had some of my favorite pickles, which are these Grillo's pickles. And that was that. So I feel like this video was a little all over the place. Yes, it was the day before, but I had some of this random footage. But I always feel like I just like want to share what I filmed, even if I like forget when that was. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are hearing my voice, don't forget to check my info box for, I always call it the secret, but never secret if you watch all my videos, giveaway that is linked down there. If you missed my last video, it was my Michigan vlog, and it was literally one of my favorite day in my life that I've ever filmed. It was such a beautiful time. And last but not least, if you didn't know, I have an account on Patreon now where I upload bonus chatty content, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you who have already gone over there and subscribed, and to those of you that are maybe interested, come on over, check it out. And as of now, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. So yeah, that's it. I will hopefully see you guys back here soon with another new video, and that is all. Okay, bye guys.